live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 369, and I'm joined once again by someone I'm truly he is an innovator. He is the legend himself, one of the brilliant minds behind the Quest and Constant Pro Wrestling. He is Archadia. What's going on, brother? Good evening.
Much, Ray. Great to be here. Is this number third time?
So this is the third time, yeah.
Yeah, I love talking to you. So any chance I get to be here, I'm willing to do it.
No, likewise, man. I'm glad we could do this. I'm glad I'm still alive to do this as of matters last week. But
I think more people in specifically New York, New Jersey independent wrestling have fake died than any other region of independent wrestling.
It was the funniest thing that I got so many messages after of, oh, so it was just your turn. That's it. Like a lot of the guys.
You should feel honored because it's not. I mean, I guess it's more promoters than anything to, I guess, scare people away or whatever. But it's the more I can't even think about the amount of people that I've thought have been claimed to be dead.
Yeah,
and have not been. And I made a joke about it when you were live explaining to your fans or to your friends and family that you were not indeed dead, that Eric Corvus died in 2005 and was replaced by an alien.
Hey, it's still out there. We don't know.
Story, by the way, I wasn't joking. It really happened in 2005. I don't know if do you know the message? I mean, I don't even know how old you are, but like, do you remember back in the day, old message boards? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a wrestling message board called the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
Not independence, like as in.
Yeah.
Right. So
hey, you gotta make it catchy. It works.
There was a post on late at night one night, and it was like, just posting here because a friend of mine knows Eric Corvus or whatever, and we heard that he had gotten into a car accident and died. So like we couldn't get a hold of him. He said that he was at a friend's house or his dad's house or something for an extended period of time, and his phone was not charged. I mean, no one knows what really happened, if he was just like feeling sorry for himself and like just claimed to be dead or whatever. But I mean, in my group of friends in wrestling, that's a callback to Eric Corvus dying, and they said he was in a ditch, and it was. I mean, we spent all night looking for him. We were like knocking on people's doors and stuff. So at least you were very quickly able to be like, hey guys, I'm alive.
No, yeah. Luckily, again, a few calls, and then it's just like, you know what? Just to make sure, hey, let's go live. And just let people know, even though the speculation is still out there, still might just be AI. But someone saw me in person yesterday, so they can verify I'm here. So, but we already we got Dave Sturcio in the building already. What's going on? Shout out to Sturcio and the team at Fight Factory Wrestling as they're putting on an amazing show July the 15th with War on the Shore. Dose.
Not only is it an amazing show, but it's an amazing show that I also will be gracing my presence with. I've decided that I'm going to take 2.5-year breaks from wrestling and then wrestle 2 matches in 5 days and then go back to relative obscurity.
Oh no, we can't allow that now. At least we got to keep it going. Which let's get into that though. What made that decision? Because it was an interesting conversation when we finally spoke about this, and I'm thinking something else. So I want to get your mindset on this when of deciding, you know what? I think it's time to get the gear back on.
What do you mean you're thinking something else?
So when you messaged me, I'm thinking, oh, of course, like thinking because you're running Constant now. I'm thinking, oh, you want to be around this just to see other perspectives. I wasn't thinking the ring again because I remember I asked last time we did this. I'm like, is there that chance of you getting the itch again? And I thought, oh, maybe he's, unfortunately for now, he's done.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, I guess the itch is always there. It's just a matter of whether or not physically I feel like I'm able to do it.
Gotcha.
And knowing that I was going to have a few months before both of these shows ever happened to at least get myself into a mindset of, I mean, because being in, I know that there are people that are able to jump right back into it. For me, mentally, like being a promoter and my focus being on presenting a show and things like that is a lot different than me getting myself into the mindset of being able to perform and be something, that I very rarely become. The mindset of being in the ring is a completely different thing. But I think for me, having the ability to have all the time that I have had to kind of prepare myself mentally to get back into the ring, because I mean, honestly, at my age and how relatively inactive I've been, it's not easy. The games that you play in your head on whether or not you can still do the things that you used to do, and whether or not you want to be a version of yourself that was not or is not the best you've ever been. It's hard as an athlete, I think, to feel that way and to want to put yourself out there as being some version of yourself that isn't up to what has been before. And I think that's the hardest part. But I think, again, having the time to be able to do it is probably the reason why I was able to say yes to you. And I said yes to you first, and then to Dave and Fight Factory Wrestling second. I think it was honestly, it was very important to me to be able to, if I was going to wrestle, to be able to wrestle on your show, because of, I mean, for a lack of a better word, for the respect that I have for you as a person and for what you're trying to do. I think it is a right fit for me to be able to get back in and do a singles match. With Dave's Fight Factory presents War on the Shore 2, Tuesday, July 15th at Martel's Tiki Bar. It's not as, I think, physically demanding. I think being in there with 15 to 20 people is going to be very chaotic. And I feel like with my lack of awareness in the ring, being that it's been so long since I've been in there, it might be hard for me. And I don't think I'm going to last very, very long. But again, for you, a singles match with a guy like Malik Delvante, who is impressive every time he's in there. I mean, that's a whole nother animal. And I mean, I'm excited for the chance to do the thing I love to do the most in the entire world. But to say I'm not at least a little bit nervous or scared about how I'm going to come across and how I'm going to compete in the ring would be a lie.
You know what it is? Again, it's one of those where it shows just how much, and again, no pun intended to this, but how much you respect the business and how much you respect this craft that we're in here, of wanting to still, again, be at the best you can be in there. And it's one of those.
The second part of what you said, not respecting the business, is a completely different thing than respecting the craft, right? Because I don't really respect the business at all, especially not independent wrestling, because there's way too many people inside the wrestling business that, like whatever. But the craft itself, being able to tell a story, being able to get in there athletically and do things that, I'm not able to do anywhere else in my life. That's to me respecting the craft, and the amount of effort and time and positivity that you yourself bring to the side of it. I don't think there's another person I'd be more willing to get into the ring for than you.
No, I appreciate that. Again, it was one of those where, and I even said this on another podcast that I got to do. When we spoke, it was one of those where it was a definite, okay, now who would you like to wrestle?
Yeah.
That was my first response. And it was like, I didn't think twice. I'm just like, I'm in my aunt's room, like, so who do you want to work? I'm like, let's make it happen. Because
go ahead.
Just say it's one of those where, again, when coming up with this, there's of course I had the vision of it, but getting an opportunity like that, I'm like, oh hell yeah. like again, I've told you how much, and we've had multiple conversations of just how much I respect you and also the work that you've done in this. And it's like, how could I pass this up? You know?
And I appreciate that because we've had discussions about stuff like this where like, there are people who have done the things that I've done and think that they've done greater things. And there are people who've done what I've done and are okay with what they've done. And then there again are people who have done what I've done and feel like they haven't really done anything. And it's an odd place to be in because yes, I do feel connected to the people who have done great things in this business, but I also don't feel like I have any place to be in the same conversation as those guys. Like I appreciate that there are people who are at the top of the wrestling game that know my name and know who I am and know, that I worked really hard to try to give my best every time I was out there. But, in terms of the overall impact that I've had in like the wrestling business, that it's relatively close to zero. So for you to, at least give me the opportunity to get back into the ring, that's, more than I can ever be grateful for.
No, of course. Again, and this is one of those where, like I said, again, I would selfishly want to continue have you a part of this, but again, it's still.
I mean, it depends. Like if I'm 41 years old,
yeah.
Right, and my first time in a professional wrestling ring, I was 16 years old. So I have spent more time in my life being a wrestler than not being a wrestler. So when you're given the opportunity to do things like that, you don't know how you're going to feel. The last 3 times I've done it, I've gone home and had a conversation with my wife and said, like, I'm never doing that again. Like, like you get out of the ring it's not an easy thing. Like,
no, of course.
It's not an easy thing to get in the ring. And especially, I mean, me as a person, I'm not going to go in there and half-ass it. I'm not going to go in there and be something that, I can say, like, I'm just doing it to be out there. Like, I'm not doing it just to be out there. If I'm going to be out there, I'm going to be me. And I'm going to try to be the best version of me that I possibly can be. So what's hard about it is that if I'm not consistent in the gym, in the ring, doing these things, and then I go out there and I try to be the version of myself that I was when I was 22 years old, it takes a lot out of me. And then I'm sitting in the locker room by myself and I don't even know where I am because, I can't breathe because I'm a 41-year-old man who hasn't done it in 3 years. That's where the mindset of like, I can't do this anymore. But, you get in there, you feel it, you have a good match, you're in there with a guy like Malik, who's going to obviously make it easy to feel that way. That was a nice little flash. And who knows what I'm going to feel, like I've always kind of backed away from wrestling because of what's going on personally in my life. And I've done it for years. Like I don't think there was ever a more than 3 or 4 year period where I was straight through and then didn't at least take some sort of break away from wrestling because it's exhausting. And when people stop wrestling, it's not because they don't want to wrestle anymore. It's because the grind gets to you, man. It wears you down. Driving up and down the East Coast, going into Ohio, like wrestling in front of 5 people, wrestling in front of 100 people, wrestling in front of 1,000 people. Like it just grinds you down. And if it's not everything that you want to be in your life, then it's hard to keep going sometimes.
Oh, definitely understood there. And look at that. We got someone very well there. We got Steve Scott in the chat now. We're live now. I feel like he might be familiar. I don't know. I feel like you guys had something.
No,
he used to take selfies once in a blue. He's a proud papa now. So congratulations again to Steve Scott.
I know a Herbie Scott.
Okay. That might be the confusion. It's
Herbie Scott.
Okay. And then we got Smiley in the chat saying, "I'm
With Smiley Fairchild. His last name?
Apparently, I messed it up in the graphic then because I didn't put that part. Just put Smiley. But
child.
he's excited to watch the match live there. That's definitely that's one thing I keep saying that I feel like, especially your match, it's going to be one of those that even the locker room is just going to be just peeking out to watch.
Stop doing like you're saying all this stuff and then like
It's gonna happen though. It's gonna happen. And again, I've had this conversation with two people. One is you, and I won't disclose the other. But if people know me enough, I think they can figure out who I'm talking about. That it's like, again, you both are gonna be in matches like that on July 19th. And again, that's why I'm glad. And like I said,
hope, right?
Hey, it's one of those where again, this is something where I've been told Malik has some words about this match. We might be hearing them very soon. He has some words about facing you on July 19th. And this is when I'm excited just to see again what can happen there, and just again to see what will be going down and where that can lead to. Like we said, what
older Mr. Belding was when they first started filming Saved by the Bell. And I'm gonna get in there and try to do athletic thing. Like, come on. Who is this guy? I'm excited because I honestly like I just want to get that feeling again of creating and being in there and you know, the fans are great. Like, I love the fans, and I love the fact that like someone is watching what you do, you know. But when I first started wrestling, and I mean, I don't know if you know anything about my backstory and how I started. I don't even know if we went over it the last two times.
The first time we definitely did. We went down.
Yeah, I started in backyards and trampolines and stuff, and you know, like when I was at my peak, I mean, if I had a peak, but when I was at my peak, Jersey All Pro wrestling guys like Low Key and all that stuff, I would wrestle a professional show on Saturday night in front of 1,000 people. I mean, and then Sunday, I would be more excited to wrestle in someone's backyard in front of my friends. And it's weird. Like, that's what wrestling does, because, and that's where what you say is different from what everyone else says, right? It's about the wrestling business. And, you know, like, we can go back and watch all these, you know, Facebook, Instagram lives about these wrestlers going back about the things that they've done in wrestling, and people that don't respect them, and what they've, the way that they've paved. And then, I mean, like, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but then there's also podcasts where people are talking about like their vision of what the wrestling business is. And if you're halfway in, you don't deserve to be in at all. Like, I just feel like professional wrestling needs to be inclusive. Like, yes, if you're here because you want to build a name for yourself and eventually be on TV, and that's your goal, that's fine. But there is room in professional wrestling for everyone, and everyone who has different goals to do what they're doing. I am very realistic to know that I had no shot at any point in my career to be on TV. And don't stop. I don't want a response from you telling me, oh yeah, well, I think you maybe in 2005. It's 20 years ago. Like, I just want people to know that wrestling as an art form should be open to everyone to express themselves however they want to do it. Like, yeah, of course, should you be at some point serious about what you do, but it's about, for me, serious about the art form and not serious about the business.
Agreed.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about the amount of followers that I've ever had, and I don't care about the amount of people who know who I am, and whether or not like my t-shirt is selling on at the merch table. Like, it's just not my goals. My goals is to get into the ring and perform well. That is my goal. Yeah. And if I do that, then that's success to me. So I don't like guys that define success in the wrestling business as the only success you can ever have is monetary success, living off of wrestling, or you know, like getting on TV. Like, it's just not my goal. And it shouldn't be that has to be everyone's goal.
No, agreed. And it's, It's one of the reasons why this, especially for this show, like it became respect the craft. Because to me, it was always the importance is the craft of wrestling. It's this. It's the art form we're doing here. It's always the importance of, again, the stories you guys were telling and all that. It's what we fell in love with. None of us were falling in love with, oh, I wonder how much money they're making and how much this is going and this.
And that makes me sad. And that's what and listen, whatever, like I'm a nobody. So whatever I say is probably, I don't know. Can I curse on here?
Yes, you can curse.
I don't know. I'm a nice boy. I don't like to
curse away. It's all good. It's all
I
good.
don't like, this might be a bullshit thing to say. I know that WWE is a business and I know that they're trying to rake in as much money as possible, but like for me, it just takes me out of the art form.
Yeah.
To see all of the sponsorships on the mat and the different colors that they're using now, and like everything is presented by something. Like let's go to, you know, Wade Barrett presented by Slim Jim, and also this guy presented by this. Like it just takes me out of boiling it down to what professional wrestling is and the art form of doing it and the emotion behind it. Like I can't feel emotional about watching something that is overly sponsored. I just can't do it. And that's, I guess, part of respecting the craft is, for me, it's more about the craft and less about the business side of it.
No, understood. And it's one of those where, again, this is why so many have put their bodies and done this for so long. And it's to me, again, I hear it so much now that it's all about this and this and this. And I'm like, well, if that was the case, I did the wrong decision about running a show in a few weeks.
Yeah, and I get the people that are like to make jokes about, like, you get the botchamania stuff and you know, people falling through ladders and chairs and stuff, and then the first comment is, "Oh, hot dog and a handshake." Like I get that the risk is there.
Yeah.
And I also get why people wouldn't understand the risk. Yeah. Because yes, you're risking your body for an unequatable, you know, give for what you're getting, you know, but it's not about that. Like, I mean, there are probably people who would look at professional wrestling and say, why would you do that to yourselves for such little money? But would also in their own lives put themselves at risk for something that they value. You know what I mean? Like it's just relative to whatever you value. No one just stays inside their houses. Well, I mean, maybe some people do, but no one like is just locked in to, I'm not going to express myself or reveal myself in any way or even risk something about myself without wanting to do something with that. And for us, it just happens to be pro wrestling. Yeah. It's what it happens to be. You know, everybody's got something that is they weigh the risk for and they risk something. You know, everyone has that. So for me, it happens to be, you know, wrestling around with some dudes in spandex.
Okay. Again, and it's kept going, and we're here. We are years later here, and now again we're talking weeks away of coming back with 2 great opportunities there. Hey, one of those, again, you talked about being in there with 15 to 20 competitors. You might also win some gold.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the goal. Yeah. So I'm pulling it up on my own Instagram right now so I can make sure that I give everyone a fair shake. And there are guys and in this match, the open weight championship match at Fight Factory that is going to take place that have done a lot. And I feel like it's a very good mix of people that are in there. I'm not sure if there's any crossover from your show to this show of people, but you know, guys like Jay the Key Evans, who was supposed to be on the First Constant show and had to unfortunately pull off for personal reasons. You got Nikos Ricos in there, you know, Falaba, Jay Bougie, TJ Marconi, you know, the list goes on and on of the names that have been mainstays in this business in the Northeast for a very long time. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see the clash of personalities in the ring and to see what would happen. I don't think I'm at the weight in my career that TJ Marconi could probably catch me one-handed off the top rope, but I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of fireworks in that match that people aren't expecting to see. A lot of old school indie shows use their battle royals as a way to just throw people in. And I think I respect a lot about what Fight Factory is doing. It is not using a battle royal as kind of a throwaway, but actually using a battle royal to showcase a lot of guys that should be showcased.
Agreed. That was one thing when I saw just when they were announcing competitors, I'm like, okay, this is not your ordinary battle royal, which I like. It's one of those where, again, it's playing off something different here. This is creating something different. I try to do something similar because I feel like just like the battle royal, a lot of times the scramble is just here, let's put everyone in a scramble.
Right.
And I did one of those with Respect that we're doing fight or flight. And that has people in there that, again, are being showcased that are usually, you'll see them in a one-on-one or this. And it's like, you never know what fight or flight can mean.
And that's the cool thing about it is that, if you don't mind listing some of the guys that are in your scramble match.
Oh yeah. So we have Akira in there. We got Yoya in there. Anthony Gamble in there. And then we got some mystery.
You could have stopped there just with Akira and Yoya is like, both of them have main evented, big shows on the East Coast before. And Yoya is someone just so highly unutilized in I don't know personal details of what happened. But the fact that he's not on the GCW shows or JCW shows is, a crime to me. Like the dude, one of the best matches that I've seen live in a very long time. I watched him and Alec Price. And it was just unbelievable. Like it's one of those things that makes you want to wrestle, but also says to yourself, I can never do something like that. So I can't wrestle anymore. Like Alec Price and Yoya are two of those kind of guys that you watch them wrestle, immediately inspired and immediately hurts your feelings because you can't compete with that type of talent. So like for you to be able to bring that type of talent in and in a scramble match, again, like we said, some people use it as a throwaway just to have people in a match to give them, whether it's like promoters saying, I need a spot for my friends, so let's just throw them in there. Like scrambles and I've talked to guys my age and younger, a little bit younger and a little bit older, that hate wrestling multi-man matches. I hate wrestling scrambles. Like, and again, if we're talking about the art form and the craft, like there are possibilities that you can do in that type of atmosphere that you can't do in any type of atmosphere.
Oh, agreed.
Or think about some of the greatest matches of the last, 20, 25 years, like, TLC with 6 guys in there. Like that's the creativity that you can get out of multi-man matches, things that you obviously need more bodies to do. But, I love that stuff. I love the creativity that can come out of there. And with guys in there like Akira and Yoya, like there's no doubt that's going to be unbelievable.
Oh no. Yeah. That was one of those where it's like, this is going to be something. This is going to be very, very interesting to see. And again, if you haven't gotten your tickets already, make sure you get them now, everyone. tinyurl.com/respect25, because that's going to be interesting.
I use Tiny URL as well.
Yeah. Hey, it's the easiest form, just again, because we want to make it as just easy and clickable for everyone watching at home and for those trying to get your tickets. Which reminds me, let's get into that, because the way you have to use TinyURL is for events like this right here that started the first time we spoke, was announcing this event right here, the pilot of Constant Pro Wrestling, and what a show it turned out to be.
I know it took a long time for it to pop up on YouTube. We were trying to figure out how to release it or what to release it under, and getting it out there became, let's just get it out there to people. And then when we found out we were going to be running show number 2, that became more of an opportunity to say, all right, well, let's release it. And at the same time, talk about, hey, we're going to also be running show number 2. Have you gotten a chance to watch?
I did get to, that was the minute it was posted, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing tonight. And I immediately got to watch. And again, just it's one of those, if you haven't already, make sure you check out this full event here, stat card top to bottom. Again, there's so many matches in there that's just you want to just sit down and truly enjoy. The match between Brandon and Malik was one of those where it told a story that I didn't think it would, because of not being there, not getting to, and it's just interesting to see pairings. Speedball and Pat was one of those that I'm like, this is Speedball again. Just there's a reason he's on AEW right now. Like,
yeah. I mean, they're the ability to be able to get him on our first show, even as it was happening and he was saying yes, I was like, this is insane. Like, what?
Oh yeah, that was it's such a again great event that you guys have to check out, because you have to get ready for the second event that will be happening this coming October the 18th with all the pieces matter. Let's talk about that again. Deciding to, hey, it's that time to finally do the second show here.
I mean, we've talked about it. Yeah, me and Travis, TJ Blade have talked about it for the last couple of months about what we were trying to do and where we were trying to go, and we were able to strike up another partnership with a group called Wrestling in Recovery.
Oh, okay.
That runs out of that building in Avenel. There has been a lot of shows ran there in the last year, but the setup itself is perfect for the type of atmosphere that we want, where it's tight, it's intimate. The lighting and the production that we're interested in producing lends itself to that type of venue. It honestly is not a lot of space. We had 1,000 seat capacity in our last show, and we were able to put at least 285 to 300 people in there. And this venue only holds about 220 to 250. So when tickets do go on sale, which is now already, I would say if you're interested in seeing what we can bring to the table, like we did last time, you should probably get your tickets immediately, because who knows? And we might do partnerships for local, whatever you would do, like little leagues and stuff. If those partnerships come together and some of those people start to buy tickets up, the wrestling fans that are really interested in going might be left out because we might sell out.
Hey, that's always a good problem to have. And again, this is why.
Yeah, but I don't want anybody on the outside. Like if we sell out, which again, I am the first person to downplay anything that I might be doing well. If it is possible for us to sell out and we actually do, then we'd have to talk about trying to live stream it in some sort of way to make sure that people who want to watch it can watch it. I mean, we're not scaling back the amount of talent and type of talent we're going to be after. I mean, the mainstays, the guys and girls that we built our first show around are all going to be back. We're going to make sure that we get, everyone, Constant was built on selfishly wanting to be in a room where you're watching the people you love perform.
Of course.
And then, of course you sprinkle other people in to make it, like I never met Speedball before, but he fit right in. But there's as someone who has dabbled in my personal life in, teaching and coaching and being a part of building things, talent takes a backseat to the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. And for me and Travis, it was more about surrounding ourselves with people that we loved and we believed in than it was about just, hey, this guy's a good wrestler, this girl's a good wrestler, let's use them. It was about finding the right fit. And I think you and I have talked about in the past, you said even, like, oh, it was interesting the way you talked about how you built matches and why you built them the way you did and why you put people together the way you did. And a lot of it has to do with, who they are as people.
No, agreed. And it was one of those things because of those conversations that led to the way I put together some of these matches for Respect, because it was one of those where it started to make more sense of, you know what, I see it now and I get that, and definitely became one of those that it's like, hey, and it turns out even that way. Again, some very high caliber matches there, because you look at this, where again, everyone on that card was just it just fit perfectly. So many different pairings that even Kwesi Asante and Mason, that was one of those where when I remember you told me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep my eye, and watching it fully, it's like, okay, he was right.
And also with the disappointment of Jordan Oliver getting hurt and having to replace him against Jay Lethal, and trying to figure out who we were going to do it. And when we kicked around the idea of Griffin, like, we knew it was a perfect fit. Like, Griffin is, and honestly, like, it might inflate his ego a little bit, but he is a top guy. Like, and putting him in high profile matches like that is only going to bring him to the level where he should be. But also, I truly believe that there, like, a lot of people talk about like carrying people, and you put a guy who's not as good with a guy who's very good, and he's going to carry him to a good match. But I really think that putting people together reveals what they're able to do. And I think that just Griffin had never been put in a situation where it could be revealed that he can wrestle that type of main event TV style match. And he did it, man. And that match was perfect. Like, I was on the, as someone who has seen a lot of wrestling over the last 25 years, I was on the edge of my seat for that. And I think there's even a clip. I don't think it's on the clip of like our YouTube show where it's the hard cam or the mobile cam. I think someone was taking their own video. I was sitting next to Jordan Oliver during the match, and there was a moment where something amazing happened, and you could see me grabbing Jordan and like getting excited. Like, I'm a 41-year-old man who's seen 25 years worth of independent wrestling, and I'm still on the edge of my seat, loving what I see in the ring. And the fact that I was able to put that together, it means the world to me to be able to do that. And that's what I talk about with, wanting to create moments and wanting to be able to put people in situations where it reveals who they are and what they can do.
No, agreed. And it's
stop, and you said it yourself with Kwesi. I'm sorry I cut you off, but like,
no, good.
With Kwesi Asante, like, it was immediate. I went to Jeff Cannonball's Dropkick Depression show, and I saw he was in like an 8-way or like a 6-man tag, and he had barely anything to do with the match, but you could just see it, that there was more in there, and I immediately went home from that show and I typed his name in my iPhone notepad or notebook. And then when I went home and Googled, like, I saw clips, but there's something about people in that their personality and their talent mixed together make them someone you want to cheer for, or someone you want to be around. And Kwesi is definitely that person.
Oh, I got you. And again, it's one of those where I always say, it starts to click for everyone else when it's like, see, this is what they needed to see. They needed a match like this. They needed that moment to fully get to. And again, I keep saying it when I've been promoting this. To me, and I feel like you'll see it too that day with Andre Paulino. He's one of those that I feel like him with Jackson Drake on the 19th, that's going to be his moment. That a lot of people are going to now get to see him and see what he can do in that ring.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see. I mean, in a weird sort of way, I feel like I am. I wouldn't obviously consider myself like a new guy, but like to a whole generation of wrestling fans, they've never seen me live. They've never seen what I can do live. So I'm almost in that position where, like, I have to kind of reveal what I can do because I haven't done it in 3 years.
Well then, hey, they'll get to see it again. Be there July 19th at the Mecca in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. You'll get to see it in person right there. If you get your tickets, tinyurl.com/respect25. but also we'll be streaming it live right here on this same YouTube channel, so you can check it out all over. So we'll be.
Do you have Malik's words already? I'm now that you said that Malik might have words for me, I'm kind of interested to
So
hear.
we're supposed to be receiving the words this weekend.
Okay.
So as soon as I get them, they'll be going right to you, so you could also hear his words. But he has something ready. He says he has something ready.
Music. If you put me in the ring first and then he comes out, then I'm probably gonna have, because his music's amazing. I don't know.
No, it definitely is. It was one of those, when editing the package together, I was like, oh, this theme is fire.
Yes, yeah.
Like that was the one thing with editing these, that some of the times I would just forget that I'm editing, just listening to certain things. Like yours was another that I was like, oh, this is a good like beat, and then it's like, oh wait, I just missed this clip. Hold on, then I have to go back. Like,
yeah,
like that was the interesting process with this, of just like, oh wait, I gotta stop vibing to the theme right now. Hold on, okay, and we're going with the edit. Like,
it's weird to think that song is like 20 years, almost 20 years older. Like, it's.
Hey, it worked out though. It worked out.
Time sucks.
Oh man. Hey,
how you doing, Ray?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Can I interview for you first?
Sure. Let's do it.
How is the overall stress level of approaching now something that you have invested so much time and effort in, and about to, like, are you in that? Because I know that I kind of went in waves of, like excited. Okay, now I'm a little nervous. And then there was like this kind of in between period where it's like, I just need that day to be here now, because I'm tired of kind of waiting around for it to happen.
I'm there.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm there. Cause it's like, it's definitely at the beginning. The minute we sold the first, I was like, oh hell, the first ticket. I was like, oh hell yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going. And then it's like, okay. And we talked about this between our conversations of like, well, now this is changing and now this is changing. Okay. Well, this is going downhill. But then finding the changes and making it work and being able to have opportunities I didn't think we were going to have at the beginning, it had those waves of like, well, let's go. And now, after having a conversation with a mutual friend of ours, I'm just like, you know what? Okay, let's get to July 19th and then get to something else that I know is happening. let's just keep going. I will talk about that off the air. Can't talk about that on here yet, because everyone watching at home can't find out about that yet.
I like it.
But no, it's definitely at that right now. I'm just like, let's get to July 19th.
Can I take a moment to, because I haven't said this to you privately, so I'm just going to say it to you publicly, which is even better. If no one has said it to you yet, even before we get to ticket sales and like all that stuff, like, I'm proud of you, man. Like, you believed in something and you put your name on it, and you wanted to make your mark in again, I'm not going to say the business, but like, you have spent the better part of the last couple of years talking about how other people view wrestling, and what does respecting the craft mean to you? Like, that's the first thing you say to people every time they're on your podcast. Like, what does respecting the craft mean to you? Like, and you put your name on the things that you have said the last couple of years about how you feel about wrestling, and now you're trying to do your own thing. And I think it needs to be said from people like me, and hopefully more, that, dude, like, I'm happy that there are people like you doing things like this and trying to put product out there made by good people, because there are way too many people that are in this for the wrong reasons. And sometimes it feels like the only people in this are the people that are in it for the wrong reasons. And I won't ever judge myself on which side of the coin I'm on, because I don't have to deal with me, because I am me. But dealing with you and knowing the kind of person you are, I'm just glad that there's people like you that are willing to take the chance and get out there, because sometimes it feels like good people are scared away by the negativity and by the people who, aren't doing it for the right reasons.
No, I truly appreciate that, man. And it definitely, again, it's one of those. I said it the other day. It's been the hardest ride, especially at this stage of it. But again, that respect for this, that love for the craft, again, the craft, not the business, because yeah, the business side of it will always have its moments. Like, but
Respect business.
yeah, someone else could do that part because I don't know. Once you're in this for the longest, you start to realize, yeah, no, I love wrestling. The wrestling business, I don't know. But no, again, I truly appreciate that, man. And again, coming from you, I'll continue to say it again. It means the world just because of what I think of you, what I think of, again, the person you are, and just what you've meant for so many, like myself, and again, for many mutual friends of ours as well. So again, I'm completely honored that we get to have these conversations, and again, to have you there on July 19th.
Isn't it weird that like, sometimes the people that I mean, because I don't know how much public knowledge people have of things that have gone on with you in the last couple of weeks or something, but isn't it sometimes weird that the people that have been around you for so long, you feel like they don't know you at all, and then there are people who you've never physically met, like we've never met, right, in person.
We did once.
We met once. Which show was that?
It was when you wrestled Gacy. We got to have a conversation.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so so for a guy like me and you, we've met one time.
Yeah.
To have a relationship and a mutual respect for each other, and I'm going to say a mutual love for what each other brings to what we're trying to do. And then there are people that I have spent, almost 30 years being friends with, probably like 25, 26 years being friends with, that I would say have such a weird view about who I am and what my goals are. The people that I built my name with in this wrestling business, I feel like they don't know me at all. And I don't know if it's based in some sort of I don't know. I hate the word jealousy because I don't think people are jealous of me. I'm just saying in general, like there's always been this weird vibe from me to the people from the people that I started with.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it comes from, but like then, you meet people like you, where, we've met once, but we talk often enough to understand what the other person feels and what we do or want to do and what we believe in, and that's the craziest part to me, is that I feel like guys like you who, either I just met or have never met or just once met, know more about me and what I believe in and have a more accurate depiction of what I want out of this than the people I've spent the better part of my life with.
That's that part of it, that it's like you would think in this thing we're in that would be it wouldn't be that way, but hey, it's I guess that's how the cookie crumbles, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the way it is. But, and I guess that's what makes you more grateful for people like you, that having, I believe, I don't know if have you ever seen the movie Vanilla Sky?
It rings a bell, but I can't say if I have or not.
Okay, the movie is terrible, but it's Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise pretty much puts himself into a dream state, and that's where he lives because he didn't like his real life. But there's a moment in the movie, there's a quote in the movie that I've always related to, and I've always tried to think of in bad moments, is that the sweet wouldn't be oh so sweet without the sour. And sometimes we need those people in our lives that are sour, that make us feel bad, that make us question ourselves. Yeah, like, are we doing this for the right reasons, or are we selfish? Am I an egomaniac, or am I really just trying to do these things for the right reasons? And people just have a bad view of me because their own thing that's going on. I don't think I would appreciate people like you as much if I didn't or haven't run into so many sour ones in the past.
Agreed. And unfortunately, very same. I think it's unfortunately through these years that, again, if I allowed that to get to me at this point, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you right now, or even again being close to Respect on July 19th. It's one of those where it's right though. It's one of those where you have to you get both, but then you get to really enjoy those moments because of all that. So
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that. I'm very excited for the return there of Constant Pro Wrestling. All the pieces matter right there. And again, for everyone watching, make sure you get tickets to both. Make sure you're at both events, and make sure you're following Constant Pro Wrestling on all of its social media right there. Instagram, constant_wrestling, on X at WrestleConstant right there. And make sure you get your tickets because, like Arcadia just said, they'll be going fast, especially
I didn't say
that. I'm gonna say he said that because he alluded to it again. The building may not be able.
I said I hope that this would happen. I don't think
it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell. So we'll say this. I'm saying it's gonna sell because again, if you watch show 1 in its entirety, you're gonna want to be there for show 2 because hey, the story just begun. So to everyone watching, again, Arcadia, thank you so much for joining us for the 3rd time here. We're gonna have to do more of these because it's always a fun time here. But to everyone watching, don't forget to, as always, be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Jeff Cannonball forever.
And